After getting knowledge about these cells, we are now focusing on classification. We are usually using word here biodiversity. What is the meaning of that? Various plants and organisms or animals, they are present here, and we want to classify them. Now here you will get variety of animals. Suppose you are there on Antarctica, then also life system is there on Antarctica. Even on equator, well developed life system is there. The more number of animal, or rather I should say more number of species, the more we are calling biodiversity. Say for example, in Antarctica or polar region, population of one species is dominating. Say for example, penguins. More penguins are observed, or walrus-like animals, more observed. That means what? Biodiversity is less. Population of any single species is more over there. Whereas if you are there in tropical zone, particularly equatorial zone, then you will get very high biodiversity. That means each species is not having much representation, but much population, but number of species are more. Now we want to classify them. So there are two systems of classification. One system of classification is called as two kingdom classification system. Another system says five kingdom classification system. So here we are classifying first on basis of two kingdom, and then we'll discuss about five kingdom classification system. So first, two kingdom classification system. So all these living beings, they are classified into two types. The first, that is kingdom Plantae, that means plant, and second, that is animals. So this is very basic. From first standard only you must have aware that there are plants and animals. So this is very basic part. Now plants classification is important. I am focusing first on plants classification. In case of plants, various characteristics we have to consider. Say for example, whether plants are autotrophic in nature or heterotrophic in nature. This is called as mode of nutrition. What is the meaning of autotrophic? They are preparing their own food. Whereas heterotrophic, they depends on other for food. Say for example, if I am talking of fungus, then fungus is heterotrophic in nature. They depend on others for food. Whereas if I am talking of, let us take example, algae, they are autotrophic. They prepare their own food. But first, let me consider what is the meaning of food over here. Don't consider that pizza and burger, that means food. Here, I want to tell what is exact food. That is, we are focusing on one type of reaction that is called as photosynthesis reaction. It's very simple reaction to explain me here at low level, but it's a high level. If we want to study in depth, then obviously it is very complicated one. So let us discuss very simply. There is carbon dioxide in atmosphere. In school or in various colleges also, they are teaching in this way that carbon dioxide is considered as pollutant. Many people are considering that carbon dioxide is harmful, but no, it is base of our life system here. So it's really essential. Many people are worrying about rising percentage of carbon dioxide in air. But let me clarify here. In dry air, hardly 0.3% carbon dioxide is there. So this is carbon dioxide that is combining with water. Rather, I should say hydrogen from water, but here reaction, while writing, it is reacting with water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a compound which is consisting of magnesium as metallic ion. So that chlorophyll is there. With help of chlorophyll and sunlight, this reaction occurs to produce C6H12O6. Now I am not balancing out this reaction, I am simplifying. So carbon dioxide combines with water. In that case, hydrogen is taken from this. We are getting C6H12O6 plus oxygen is liberated in this reaction. So this way, water is decomposed. Here, H2O, the proper reaction is there. H2O is split out into H plus plus OH minus. If I am writing 4, then there are 4 H plus and 4 OH minus. So this 4 OH minus again combines to give 2 H2O plus O2. In this format, these H plus ions get adsorbed over here. Electrons are set free. Here 4 electrons are there. But right now we should not worry about these charges. So simply think that hydrogen is taken from carbon dioxide and we are getting here C6H12O6 plus O2. Now sunlight we have to consider as energy. So these two molecules are energy having less comparatively, whereas this molecule we are calling as energy rich molecule. So here we are having transformation of molecule from less energy to higher energy. This is called as glucose or simple sugar. So I should call this as glucose or here a simple sugar. Fructose is also similar. Let us discuss in later example. So here we are having C6H12O6. This material we can consider as food. This is balanced reaction because earlier I have written only basic. So now it is balanced reaction. 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 water molecule. It will give 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. You can check out here 6 carbon. So here also carbon 6. 6 2s are 12. 12 oxygen here and 6 oxygen. So 18 oxygen molecule. Here 6 and 6 2s are 12. So 12 plus 6, 18. So it's balanced. Now here, this reaction, suppose I am writing in reverse way, or rather I should say this way, C6H12 in presence of enzymes. Then we are getting carbon dioxide plus water. So reaction is same, only I am writing reverse way. This is on LHS and this is on RHS. Plus, say here I have mentioned energy is taken in. In this reaction, energy is going out. So this way, energy is released. This is the key factor of life system. That whatever energy they are using, that is trapped by plant or producers in form of glucose, that is energy rich molecule, which is oxidized and we are getting carbon dioxide plus water. So original components they regain here and energy release that is utilized by that organism. So that's why in 2 kingdom classification system, here we are getting plant and animal as separate kingdoms. In case of plant, maximum plants are autotrophic in nature. They are producing out glucose. This is we are calling as preparing their own food. Part of that food is utilized by these plants and remaining are utilized by animal kingdom. And so this is the case. I am separating out 2 things, plant kingdom and animal kingdom. But all plants are not autotrophic in nature. Say for example fungus, then certain parasitic plants like Cuscuta. These plants are heterotrophic in nature. So we should not say that all plants are autotrophic, and some more clarification in classification required. And therefore the 5 kingdom classification originated out. Basically we discussed that plants and animal in food category, we can say veg and non-veg. So like that, veg and non-veg. Bacteria were considered initially in plant kingdom because many bacteria are autotrophic in nature, but many bacteria are heterotrophic in nature also. Say for example, certain diseases are there because of bacteria. For example, tuberculosis, that is TB, leprosy, all these diseases, they are happening because of bacteria also. Even diarrhea, one of the cause of diarrhea is bacteria. Again, certain bacteria, they are not autotrophic, but they are living in our body. They are helping us. We are calling them as symbiotic bacteria, like lactobacillus. They are living in our digestive system. They are getting ready-made food, they are getting ready-made shelter, everything. In turn, what are the waste matter they produce? That consists of vitamin B complex. And that's why we are also benefited. We are calling this type as symbiosis. So, this is not there on two classification system, two kingdom classification system. Even protozoa. Protozoa means entamoeba, histolica, or amoeba simply we can call. They are there in animal kingdom, but they are unicellular in nature. And in order to break out this problem, instead of two kingdom, 5 kingdom classification system was discussed. So this is the reason why we changed out from initially we discussed that we have to discuss on 2 kingdom, but then we are switching over to 5 kingdom classification system. Now, first thing that what is the living system is there, we are classifying this into 5 different ways. First kingdom, we are calling it as Monera. It is mono. From that we can say it is Monera, unicellular part. But here only prokaryotic cells we are considering. That means we have separated out bacteria from plant kingdom over here. So here I am saying first kingdom, that is Monera, which is consisting of only prokaryotic cell. Now in case of this prokaryotic cell, we have all bacteria, we can classify them in different ways. So they are usually solitary. Some bacteria are having colonial nature also, and certain modifications are also there. Say for example, cyanobacteria. Previously it was called as blue-green algae, but now we are considering them as cyanobacteria. They are showing some sort of multi-level or multicellular structure, but not exactly. We'll discuss later. Now this is first kingdom. Second kingdom we are calling as Protista, where unicellular but animals are there. Like we discussed Euglena, Chlorella, all these, they are considered in this category. That unicellular animals, even amoeba, entamoeba, histolica, Plasmodium vivax, all these categories, they are there. Earlier we were classifying them into kingdom Protozoa in animal kingdom, but now we are considering them as separate kingdom as Protista. So this is unicellular but prokaryotic cell. This is unicellular but eukaryotic cells. So this is basic difference between kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista, that both are consisting of unicellular unicellular living organism, but out of that Protista is consisting of eukaryotic cell, whereas Monera, they are consisting of prokaryotic cell. Again, in case of Monera, bacteria are there. They are both heterotrophic as well as autotrophic. In case of Protista, except Euglena and Chlorella, all are heterotrophic in nature. Now third kingdom we are calling as multicellular but heterotrophs in nature. So here we are having multicellular but heterotroph in nature, that is fungus. Here it is multicellular, but mod is heterotroph. So we are separating out autotrophs and heterotroph plant over here. So fungus basically we are classifying as separately now. In earlier ways it was considered as plant system, plant kingdom only. They are basically all saprophytic in nature. As what is saprophytic? Okay. This is food. Suppose this is fungus, just initially growing. It is having some rhizoids, some root-like part. But when I am saying root, root is multicellular, whereas these rhizoids are unicellular. So they are entering here. Then certain enzymes are secreted by the wall. Enzymes are chemical which triggers out the reaction to break down something. Whereas this is a food particle, substratum or these rhizoids enter inside and then start digesting out. And only digested part is absorbed and then this fungus start growing. This is called as mycelium, which is the line they are growing parallel to substratum or on food. Whereas certain branches they are moving up and they are producing sporangium to spread out their further next generation. So this is mod we are calling saprophytic nature. So here we are separating out fungus. Then there is kingdom that is called as plantae. I can say here again multicellular but autotrophs in nature. And lastly kingdom Animalia, where multicellular but heterotrophs. Here we are classifying this on basis of cell wall also. Just we discussed that animals they are not having cellulose cell wall, whereas plants they are having cellulose cell wall. So on basis of this also we can separate out. So Monera, Protista, fungus, plantae and Animalia. So like that 5 kingdom classification is there. This is just outline. Now we have to discuss in detail. Bacteria are classified according to their shapes. Say for example, round shaped bacteria, they are called as cocci, plural, singular coccus. Then there are rod shaped or cylindrical shaped bacteria, they are called as bacillus. Then comma type, spiral type, like that bacteria are there. So depending upon their shape, bacteria are classified as coccus, bacillus, comma and spiral. Whereas certain bacteria are autotrophic, whereas certain bacteria are heterotrophic. So on basis of that also we can classify bacteria. Certain bacteria they are solitary and some bacteria are colonial in nature. Like that various ways are there. Some bacteria are chemosynthetic in nature. Mode of respirations also differs. Say for example, we have aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is carried out with help of oxygen. That reaction I have written over here, that glucose combines with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. This reaction is called as aerobic respiration reaction, which is carried out in presence of oxygen. But in absence of oxygen also, certain reactions are going on. We are calling that as anaerobic respirations. So like that, various ways are there. We can classify these bacteria. In case of bacteria, they are not 100% known because they are microscopic. Even for 10x zoom of microscope, compound microscope, they are not observed clearly. In order to observe these bacteria, we have to use usually 45x zoom or 100x zoom of compound microscope. Under electron microscope, they can observe very easily. But it is very difficult to classify entire bacteria. It is said that hardly 5% knowledge of bacteria, whatever present on earth, that is there with us right now. I don't know how denominator is calculated, but still they are saying it is 5% knowledge of bacteria is there with us. Anyway, Now these bacteria, some bacteria are known, they are having very much influence on our life. Say for example, the bacteria, they are helping us. Say for example, lactobacillus, they are present in milk and they convert milk sugar, that is lactose sugar, into lactic acid. That's why milk is converted into curd. So this type of helping nature bacteria are also there. They are not intentionally helping, but their way of behavior is like that. We are getting help. Now same way, certain bacteria are present. They digest out starch, and so some problematic behavior is also observed, like potatoes, or whenever starch is present in food, then it is consumed by these bacteria and we are getting bad taste for that food. That food is converted into poisonous food also because of these bacteria. Even we can check out that various bacteria are there to produce diseases in human as well as other animals' life. So for example, we discuss about leprosy, then another disease, that is TB, tuberculosis. Like that, bacterial diseases are there. So this is somewhat importance of these bacteria. Again, various chemicals are made with help of bacteria also. Certain bacteria are serving very good as a food. Best example I should say here, because many Indians are not aware of this substance that is called as spirulina. This is actually cyanobacteria. Series or say filamentous nature is there of bacteria. These bacteria are having very good protein contents. Even in range of 60% body mass of that bacteria is there as protein. So this is very good source of food or dietary supplement. So like that, various bacteria are useful directly. Some bacteria are harmful. This is the first kingdom we say, that is about Monera. Now we are going towards another part, that is Protista. As we discuss, Protista, that is consisting of unicellular but eukaryotic animals. In that we have amoeba. The best drawing I can draw, that is of amoeba. You are aware that there is no fixed shape. Some shape we have to draw. This is amoeba. This is having nucleus because it is not prokaryotic. It is eukaryotic, so distinct nucleus is observed over here. Some plasma membrane can produce motion. Protoplasm. Protoplasm means whatever inside the cytoplasm, that is called as protoplasm. It is moving over there, and like that, some foot-like part is produced over there. We are calling that as pseudopodia. Pseudo stands for false. Podia stands for leg. So this is pseudopodia. Suppose food particle is here, then this pseudopodia covers it, and ultimately that food is taken inside. So like that, the mode of amoeba nutrition is there. This is obviously, we can say, heterotrophic in nature, because chlorophyll or chloroplasts, they are absent in case of amoeba. So amoeba is aquatic in nature, living in pond. Again, another this type of animal that is there, that is called as paramecium. In case of paramecium, its diagram is somewhat difficult. It is somewhat shoe-shaped in structure. It is having prominent nucleus and hairy outgrowth. These hairy outgrowths are called as cilia. Say this mode, what is the function of cilia? That is for locomotion. Cilia are having smaller size but large number. Whereas another concept is there. Say for example, certain bacteria are there, they are having this type of part. we are calling this as flagellum. Flagella or flagellum. Flagellum is having comparatively long length, but number is either 1 or 2. So less in number, that is called as flagellum. Here more is number, that is called as cilia. So this is paramecium. Paramecium is also heterotrophic in nature. So like that, various protozoans are there. Now, importance for mankind, obviously. Protozoans are problematic for man. They are not helping directly. For example, Entamoeba histolica is name of protozoa, which is one of the reasons of diarrhea. I am again saying Entamoeba histolica can cause diarrhea, but when diarrhea is there, it is not necessary that it is always there because of Entamoeba histolica, because diarrhea is caused by Entamoeba histolica, certain bacteria, we are calling that E. coli, then certain viruses are also responsible for causing diarrhea. So one of the reason of diarrhea, that is Entamoeba histolica. Again, malaria. In case of malaria, the causative agent here, that is Plasmodium. Depending upon thing, we are calling Plasmodium vivax or other variety also. So Plasmodium is important here. Plasmodium is causing out malaria. This is also having parasitic in nature. Its life cycle is completed in 2 stages. Its first stage is completed in body of mosquito, female mosquito, and another stage is completed in body of man. So Plasmodium is another protozoan which is proved harmful for mankind. So like that, various protozoans are there. Out of that, Euglena and Chlorella, I can say some having distinguishing characteristics. They are having chloroplast. That means they are photosynthetic in nature, and that's why they are separated. Actually, this is the biggest problem, that we should give separate class for this thing. No cellulose outwall is there, cell wall is there, but still they possess chloroplast. So they are having some sort of autotrophic nature. So this is about kingdom. Second kingdom we discuss, that is Protista. Now third kingdom we are saying, that is called as fungus. It is particularly arrived as scavenger in nature. What is the meaning of scavenger? Say for example, certain food or certain animals, plants, after dying or after releasing out their waste matter, it should be break down into simpler form, and that task is achieved by fungus. So basically we are calling this category as scavenger. In that, mode of nutrition of fungus is predominantly saprophytic. As I have explained, what is saprophytic? That body is releasing out enzymes and only digested material is absorbed. So there is no thing that material is taken in, digested, and digested material is absorbed, remaining material is released. No, only enzymes are sent out, material is digested outside, only digested part is absorbed, and that's why we are calling this mode of nutrition, that is as saprophytic mode of nutrition. Now in case of fungus, we have multicellular as well as unicellular. Say for example, yeast is best example of unicellular fungus, where its economic importance is very, very great. Many fungus, they are serving us as food. Yeast is carrying out fermentation. It's used predominantly for carrying out fermentation. Fermentation is reaction carried out with help of these living systems, where complex material is converted into simpler material. Like we discussed, lactose sugar is converted into lactic acid. by lactobacillus bacteria. This is also reaction that is called as fermentation reaction. So here bacteria are serving as fermentation. Fungus, they are also serving as fermentation. So it is very essential to know that when even we are making idli, dosa, all that, that is also used with help of fermentation reaction. To convert milk into curd, we require fermentation reaction. And even when alcoholic beverages are produced, that is liquor, that is also achieved by reaction that is called as fermentation. So this yeast category, they are helpful in this type of fermentation reactions. Again, in this fungus category only, mushrooms are there. You are aware it is serving as very good food, particularly for diabetic patient. Mushroom is considered as best food because mushrooms, as their nature is saprophytic in nature, they are scavengers, so they are not having carbohydrates, and that's why mushrooms are considered as very good food for diabetic person. So these mushrooms are serving us as food. Certain medicines are also prepared from variety of mushrooms or fungus. Various antibiotics are produced from fungus. Say for example, penicillin is produced from penicillium, that is fungus. So this way we can produce various antibiotics, that means in category of medicines they are there. All mushrooms are not edible. Here I must tell you that if you observe any mushroom, don't try to consume it, because maximum categories of mushrooms are poisonous in nature, whereas only few categories of mushrooms, they are edible. And therefore you should not consider that if any mushroom is observed we can consume it, because certain mushrooms are poisonous, highly poisonous in nature. So this is the category that we are calling as fungus. So in fungus, basically this is suppose mucor. Let us take example. This is piece of bread. On piece of bread, first network is developed. These lines are running parallel. We are calling that as mycelium. If I am showing magnifying structure, here cell wall is absent, but complex sugar material is produced, that is called as chitin. But don't write down K. It is pronounced as chitin, but we have to spell out as chitin. So this is the cell wall of fungus, where actually this is the cell. So separating out membranes should be present. Then nuclei, like that structure. But in many fungus, these membranes are absent, and therefore you can observe that nuclei are floating in between. So this is the mycelium structure, whereas from that certain parts are coming out which develop spores inside that. This is called as sporangium. The small spores are developed, and these spores get spread out after bursting out this sporangium, and we are getting another location to develop these spores. That means mycelium. Usually damp places, moist places are preferred by this fungus to grow. Fungus is having very good hygroscopic ability. Hygroscopic means water absorbing nature, moisture absorbing nature, and that's why we are having variety of fungus. They are even growing on wall, particularly in moisture, that means in humid climate you can observe certain fungus, they are growing on wall. Even it is going with symbiosis with another category we are calling, that is as algae. It is in plantae kingdom, but this category they are mixing out. So part is fungus and part is algae. Like that structure is developed, we are calling that category as lichen. In case of lichen, fungus and algae, they are living in symbiotic way. Fungus is getting food material from from algae, whereas algae is receiving water from fungus. And like that symbiotic work is carried out. We are calling this category as lichen. Even in spices, we are using this category of lichen.